Hey now, it's Daddy. To you, you little creep.
WTF! WTF!
Bon qui, je m'appelle Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. You are a sexual wank faisant, and welcome to all the WTF moments from last night's SmackDown Live. But let's forget about SmackDown Live for a second, because right at this moment, I would like to wish Otis Dozovic's mom a very happy birthday indeed. It's a shame last night's SmackDown Live couldn't live up to such a monumental occasion. I mean, it was better than this week's Raw, but this wild card rule and all of its plot holes are starting to do my massive tits in. And wouldn't you just know it, we're kicking things off with all these WTF moments with this Pooh House. Yes, we're keeping things PG here, the Pooh House wildcard rule, because wouldn't you just know it, a day, roughly 24 hours after the thing was made, they've already kind of changed the rules again for a second time. Now, as we all know, the creative process in WWE is just made up from week to week to week. It's done on a whim, there's a random generator thing, and that's what they go with, because they don't have a clue what they're doing, it seems. Vince McMahon appeared on this week's Raw and said, "Hello, the wildcard thing is a thing now." 3 superstars from either Raw or SmackDown can appear on the opposite show whenever they want. But then, after roughly 500 SmackDown Live superstars appeared on this week's Raw, Lars Sullivan was the man to get that quota up to 4, because he looked at Vince McMahon in a very menacing way and showed Vince McMahon his collection of Stephanie McMahon fat material. That's a thing he allegedly has, and or had. But then we got to the start of last night's SmackDown Live and Tom Phillips piped up and said, "Hello everybody, the wildcard thing's a thing. A limited number of superstars can appear in the opposite show whenever they want. Not 3, not 4, not 500 like we saw on Raw. A limited number, which means we don't know how many there can be." I'm laughing because they don't know what they're doing, do they? Made a grave mistake, Corey. So just as WWE Raw superstar Alan Jeffrey Styles stands in the middle of a SmackDown Live ring, Corey Graves pipes up and says, "I don't think AJ Styles is concerned with the wildcard rule at the minute." I think he might be, Corey, otherwise AJ Styles surely wouldn't have turned up this week's SmackDown Live, a night that would have been a night off for him before the wildcard rule became a thing. He's not Roman Reigns, is he? Because of course the big dog can do anything he wants, when he wants. And then Vince McMahon changes the rules to apply to him. Tom Phillips got off to a rip-roaring start on last night's SmackDown Live because he claimed as AJ Styles stood in the middle of the SmackDown Live ring, AJ could well be the first wildcard to appear on SmackDown Live last night. This week's SmackDown Live was 26 seconds old when AJ Styles' music hit, and I didn't see any other Raw superstar appear in the 26 seconds before his music started, now did I, Tom? So I reckon there's a very good chance he would be the first wildcard ting to appear on last night's SmackDown Live. And I know you're sat there at home right now saying, "But Ross, John Cena is clearly in that shot there. You just can't see him, brother." And I'm here to say to you, he's a free agent, so technically he doesn't count, so there. One Cultaholic side at last night's SmackDown Live, and thank you very much to the sexy boy himself. Look at that stallion! Tyler Warden, for spreading the good name of Cultaholic throughout the WWE Universe. Next time you go to a show, do what he's doing there, the saucy bastard. The wildcard ting saga rumbles on, because next up we have the moment where AJ Styles claims that 4 superstars can go from Raw to SmackDown Live and SmackDown Live to Raw, which means that what Tom Phillips said at the start of the show, a limited number, is not the most current thing that was said. I just wish they would go with one line and stick with it. Limited number, 3, 4, 500. I don't know what's happening, and neither do they, it seems. So that's right, if you're keeping score at home, get out your wildcard ting bingo cards and write down 4 superstars, because no doubt about it, that's going to change more times than Shane McMahon's bed sheets on a hot summer's night. Think about it now. And then we have the moment where Sami Zayn appeared, walking with his own legs, without the use of any aids, less than 24 hours after he was clearly murdered, crushed to death in the back of a garbage truck. And let me tell you, people at home, I know from experience that you simply cannot be crushed in the back of a garbage truck and then be up and walking using your own legs less than 24 hours later. It's not possible. And what's worse is the fact that everybody in that opening segment didn't reference the garbage truck ting at all properly. All we got from them people, there wasn't like, "Oh, Sammy, you were killed 24 hours ago. What you doing here?" All we got was, "Sammy, you smell." He smells like poo. It's just so funny, isn't it? But then we have the moment where Xavier Woods claimed that Sami Zayn smells, and I quote, like his 10th grade sock drawer. And if we know anything about your boy, Xavier Woods, Mr. Uso, it's that he's rated R, which means that his 10th grade sock drawer must have smelt like sex wee. So then, Xavier Woods reckons Sami Zayn smells like male ejaculate, which clearly means that scene there involving Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman from this week's Raw gives new meaning to the term cum dumpster. Children watch this, you know, Ross. What you doing, man? And then Kevin Owens appears and says, fans, if you're wondering why I didn't appear at the start of last night's SmackDown Live like it was advertised, it's because it's my birthday and I want a party. I'll do it if I want to. I want a pony and a big birthday cake, all right? Is that too much to ask? But when he said as advertised, my mind, as I'm sure yours did, went straight to a stat from those over at the Wrestling Observer. Here's that stat right now. WWE did 237 announcements on social media for Raw and SmackDown Live, and only 95 of those announcements took place as advertised. So basically, WWE are immoral bastards and massive dirty stinking liars. Or they are just like our dads who claim they'll be at the karate recital later tonight, but when the time comes, they won't be there because they're stuck at work, aren't they, Dad? It's just not good enough. I don't care about Turbo Man, Dad. It's just not good enough from you. But the point is, WWE shouldn't advertise things and not deliver. So next up, Zelina Vega comes out and she's all like it. 2 weeks at Money in the Bank. Some horses will do some wrestling. The thoroughbreds. But there's only one thoroughbred that matters. And he's with me. So Aleister Black then. I mean, I know she said Andrade. I know she stood next to Andrade. But I've had bosses in the past. And when they were talking about me, I'm sure they wouldn't go, he's with me, when talking about me working for them. So why is she talking like that when talking about Andrade, who works for her? Made a grave mistake, Corey. And here's a direct quote from Corey Graves from last night's SmackDown Live. Ali has been a step ahead of Ali in the opening moments here. Now, of course, during this week's Raw, Corey Graves said to Renee Young, Renee, you're not paid to think. Aye. Now, I'm not going to be that guy just to take the piss out of that Roman Reigns promo package that aired during last night's SmackDown Live with the millions and millions of fake crowd reactions for all of his big moments from about 2014 all the way through to 2018. Instead, I'm going to be a wholesome boy and offer an alternative suggestion. Rather than just insulting our intelligence, which they do far too much by pretending those negative crowd reactions never happened, why didn't they show those crowd reactions happening? Roman going away, Roman going through his treatment, Roman coming back, and then the change in reception when he did come back. That's a way better story, isn't it? That big dog went through absolute hell and came out the other side better off than he was before in a large majority of the opinions of WWE fans. That should be merited. It's just a stronger story to me. I don't know about you. I just hate the fact that they try to rewrite history so many times and think we won't notice. We do. And next up, we have the following direct quote from Tom Phillips, and there's just no other words for it. It's unbelievable. Horrible. Awful. Well, while Roman Reigns has become a symbol of hope and strength to millions, Shane McMahon is symbolising some of the problems within WWE today. I'm sorry, Tom, but Shane McMahon is a middle-aged dad who's only had a few karate lessons in his life. He breathes heavily while he's talking, he sweats when he walks, he cannot throw a punch, and for the last few weeks on SmackDown Live, he's been suffering a stroke, which has stopped him from speaking actual words. But despite all of that, he's emerged to be the best in the world. And if that, Tom Phillips, is not a symbol of strength and hope to millions, if not billions, I don't know what is. It's not quite as strong as Roman's, but still. And back to Tom Phillips we go, who of course was doing the thing he does best on WWE TV, and that was face fornicating the poo out of a line on commentary when he claimed that Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, might have been able to escape from The Miz during this week's Raw, but at Money in the Bank, he won't be able to escape then. Despite the fact it's a cage match, and he definitely will. It's literally one of the rules, Tom. Learn your rules. You better learn your rules. If you don't, I will eat you in your sleep. I say that a lot, don't I? Yes, but he's the best in the world at it.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
So Colonel McSweaty Bollocks, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, announces that Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to be the new SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, which is all kinds of wholesome, because I was expecting that sweaty dick to award the Tag Team Championships to his right hand and his left hand, because when they're put together, they're devastating and clearly the best in the world today. But when the new champions came out to collect their championship belts, Byron asked for some reason, have these two men ever had a match together? Despite the the fact he's called two of them. March the 26th, 2019, Daniel Bryan and his tree took on the team of Xavier Woods and Big E in that gauntlet match. Then exactly 1 month before that tree and Daniel Bryan, who was a smaller tree, took on the team of Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens, and on both occasions, Byron Saxton watched it and spoke some words. So he should know, shouldn't he? Famous detectives around the world, move. Poirot, move. Sherlock Holmes, move. The fashion police, move out of the way, because Detective Colonel McSweatybollocks is here to solve all the crimes. There he was on last night's SmackDown Live. The Usos walk out and Colonel McSweatybollocks says to the Usos, "Hello fellas, you're on Raw. What are you doing here on SmackDown Live?" Of course, it's the wild card thing, Shane, but you're a slow learner and you'll get there in the end. All you have to do is believe. I believe in you. But then Jimmy Uso's talking about how Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, can't just hand the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships to Daniel Bryan and a massive tree, because in WWE you have to earn those championship title belts apparently, and Shane even did that when he beat the Usos for the SmackDown Championships or something, or on the way to the SmackDown Championships. What's Jimmy smoking? That match never happened. As far as I can see, and of course I'm a world-class journalist and not just a hack, so I do lots of research, the Usos and Shane McMahon have been involved in 2 matches. The first one at Elimination Chamber 2019, where the Usos took the tag team titles off the best tag team in the world. And then a month later, or a few weeks later, Shane McMahon and The Miz failed to get the titles back and the Usos retained, and that's the only matches they had. So what's Jimmy Uso talking about? How embarrassing for you, Jimmy Uso. I hope they replay this time and time again. That's more embarrassing than helping a good friend to shave the spots on his back that he can't reach himself. And it's more embarrassing than putting some cream on me knackers that make them on fire. You should be ashamed. Back to Tom Phillips we go once again during these WTF moments for last night's SmackDown Live, and the entire nation of France are shouting, "Quelle surprise, Ross Twaddell." He had a Western Supermare last night, did Tom. Anyway, he claimed that the Usi Hot segment from this week's Raw was funny, and I don't need to say anything else because it wasn't. So then we go on to the moment where Daniel Bryan and his massive ginger tree beat the Usos to become the bona fide SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. Now when it comes to that massive tree and Daniel Bryan holding the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, I've got no issue with it, because anything Daniel Bryan does these days, I'm on board with it, because he's good. However, we cannot ignore the fact that WWE, thanks to the injury suffered by Jeff Hardy to the hands of Lars Sullivan, that never actually happened. Watch the footage back. They found themselves with a situation where they could have unified the SmackDown Live and Raw Tag Team divisions, and the fact that they didn't has to be a WTF moment in this fat man's opinion. To emphasise this point, let's just look at the contenders that Daniel Bryan and that massive ginger tree could now be facing when putting their SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships on the line. They could face the New Day. That would be good. But they then could face the B Team, the Colognes, Heavy Machinery, Rusev and Nakamura, Ali and Finn Balor, apparently they're a tag team according to WWE.com, and also apparently Elias and Shane McMahon, who again, according to WWE.com, are a bona fide tag team on SmackDown Live. The SmackDown Live Tag Team division, ladies and gentlemen, is a joke. They should have been killed. Shock and horror! We're back again with Tom Phillips once again, as he claimed that Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are potentially married, or maybe even siblings, because he said Sonya and Mandy Deville. That's not right. I don't know how to make that funny, so let's move on. The wild card rule is in full effect, Corey Graves exclaims at the top of his hairless lungs these days as The Miz appears to attack Colonel McSweatybollocks, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today. So get your wild card rule ting bingo cards out. The 4-man thing is gone, because now, according to Corey Graves, it's 5. The Miz was the 5th Raw superstar to appear on SmackDown Live after the Usos. There's 2. Alan James Cuthbert Styles have changed his name. There's 3. And Sami Zayn, there's 4. The Miz makes 5. What an ungodly mess. What is it with the play-by-play commentators in WWE today being massive pissing marks? And I hate to use that phrase, but I can't think of anything else that would fit this situation. Why do they fail to spot all of the irony in Colonel McSweatybollocks' promos? Last week, of course, we had Michael Cole getting worked up into a shoot when he was like, "Oh my God, guys, Shane McMahon said who would put their hands on another man's father when he did that? What a bastard, ah!" And then last night on SmackDown Live, quelle surprise everybody, Tom Phillips piped up again saying, "Whoa, Shane McMahon said who would attack another man from behind with a steel chair, and he's now attacking The Miz from behind with a steel chair. What a bastard." He's a heel, man, that's the point. Now, the camera didn't pick up on this on last night's SmackDown Live, but I've obtained exclusive footage as to what happened when Colonel McSweatybollocks did the old thing towards the Miz after he attacked him from behind with a steel chair. What a bastard, eh? Matt Hardy's a right piss taker, isn't he? So there Matt was having a great time with R-Truth. They were talking about Lars Sullivan, and wouldn't you just know it, the big sweaty man appeared behind them, and Matt turned around and thought to himself, oh, it's him! I better do the George Miz stance with a little bit of magic involved, and it might scare him away. It's him! So bad, everybody, it was the best thing ever. And next up we have Aleister Black speaking about the sins for which he seeks absolution. Aleister Black, what are you doing? Absolution broke up ages ago when I developed a fetish for Asian ladies. Now I've got to admit I ignored this bit on this week's Raw, but when it appeared on this week's SmackDown Live again, I thought, hey, I better read it, and I'm glad I did. There is an award for the best use of GIFs. And what's better is that WWE are bragging about their award for the best use of GIFs. They are 8 years old. But of course, the second WTF moment here has to be the fact that WWE were the ones to actually win that award when TDE wrestling is a thing. They're better at doing the GIFs. So then we can only assume that both AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston grew to like the smell of male ejaculate in the hour since their promo at the start of the show ended and their main event match that involved Sami Zayn began. Neither of them complained about Sami Zayn smelling whatsoever, and what's worse, they rubbed themselves on them and probably got sweaty, so the cum would have been transferred. What the F? And we end with a question that has been posed by every single WWE fan that has watched Sami Zayn wrestle since 2015. Why does Sami Zayn continue to do the Blue Thunder Bomb? Blue Thunder Bomb, blue for the dads. He hit that bastard thing about 15,000 times on last night's SmackDown Live to Kofi Kingston, and still he couldn't win. As if he didn't know that move didn't work already, last night should have told him. And that's it for all your WTF moments from last night's SmackDown Live. I've been Ross Trudell from Cultaholic.com. Thanks for being a sexual wank pheasant. I love you dearly. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us.